Morning, morning. Out running again. In this mad world, you've got to keep doing the things that make you feel good, so long as they're legal. Because we are living in the Truman Show. It is safe to say. You know, it's weird, isn't it? You keep thinking you might wake up and it's all been a bit of a weird dream. You hear something and think, nah, go on, that sounds stupid. Dog's eating grass. And then the next day, it's in the media, it's in the press, everyone's talking about it. And that repeats, and has been repeating since at least COVID, where we saw videos of people falling down in the street in China. And then COVID apparently came here and nobody was falling down in the street. And we were having to line up to get swabs to see if we had a disease that we didn't know if we had it or not. And without any symptoms, often, most of the time. And then schools closing down, or people, the government saying, oh, it would only be jabs for 70 plus, and then it was 60, 50, 40, 30, and those newborn babies, basically. Passports, you know, putting a mask on to go to the toilet in a restaurant, but taking it off to eat at the table. Just so many nonsense things. I saw things about, oh, people would get chips in their hand at some point, and lo and behold, I then saw a project in Sweden of people literally having chips in their hand to pay for food. I'm like, what are you doing? The world is quite crazy. And again, since 2020, I saw rumblings about digital ID, digital currencies, and, you know, story here, story there, and yet here we are. And it's all there, and it looks like Tony Blair is very much involved, potentially his son's company, earning hundreds of millions of pounds. You know, all those hundreds of millions of pounds that we spent on COVID and the stupid COVID passport and the insane plane I saw we sent off to China twice a day, I think, for the cost of something nuts like 25 million. It could even have been 250 million a flight to go collect useless, inadequate PPE twice a day that we then left in a huge pile and burnt. You know, the waste of money is nuts, and yet here we are. And the government is saying digital ID is going to stop illegal migration, which again, we all know it won't. And they could somehow do this really intricate, complicated system, yet they can't stop some men in some rubber dinghy boats. You know, this used to be the land, like I say, of Monty Python and Ab Fab and Open All Hours and the two Ronnies, you know, great humour, cutting humour, naughty humour, Only Fools and Horses and Spitting Image and the Carry On films, just so great. It used to be a place where your local Bobby knew your name and knew your dad's name, and yet here we are, where we're now going to have to be caught literally in a sticky web of digital ID so people know who you are, even though you've got a passport, you've got a driving license mostly, and a national insurance number and an NHS number and an inordinate amount of things to prove who you are. It is funny how quickly our life is regressing in this country, all for progression. Like I said, back in my grandparents' era, you had a family doctor who you could call at any point, night or day, weekend, daytime, whatever, and the local police would walk around your local area to come and have a cup of tea. Everyone would know everybody. And now we have to have a barcode with everything on it that, like I said, hackers will have a dream, whatever you call it. My brain doesn't really kick in till about now, so every now and again I lose my thread. Anyway, I kind of feel it's getting almost too ridiculous, and that gives me a little glimmer of hope, because I mean, it is completely insane in the UK right now, and how long can that really go on for? I mean, every day is like reading some James Bond spoof article, and I just keep praying that they're coming to the end of their absurdities. We live in hope. Have a good one.